Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Thursday, December 15th, 2022. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with the Winter is Coming edition of AEW Dynamite, broadcast live last night on TBS from the Curtis Culwall Center in Garland, Texas. In the main event, MJF defended the AEW World Championship for the first time, pinning Ricky Starks with a cradle following an illegal low blow to retain the title. Also on the line was MJF's Dynamite Diamond Ring, which he retained for the fourth year in a row after first winning it in 2019.
And now look at MJF putting Paul Turner in between himself and Ricky Starks.
Oh my God!
The low blow!
Oh my God! Ref never saw it.
1, 2, no, come on, not like this! Point blank!
After the match, Bryan Danielson ran MJF off and raised the hand of Ricky Starks to end the show. The program also featured a major upset as an unheralded independent wrestler named Action Andretti defeated Chris Jericho in his first televised match.
But Jericho's back up on his feet. We know how dangerous that Judas effect is. And Andretti, Jericho overpowered him.
Oh, he landed on the top of his head. Head first, did Jericho.
And Andretti running shooting star press. Both legs.
Whoa!
What? Come on, what?
The winner of this match, Action Andretti!
Are you kidding me? I can't believe it, guys.
After the match, it was announced that Andretti had been officially signed to AEW. AEW's World Trios champions Rey Fenix, Penta El Zero Miedo, and Pac gained a 3-1 lead in their best-of-7 series against the Elite Trio of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, with Nick Jackson of the Bucks submitting to a knee bar from Fenix after being hit in the ankle with a hammer by Penta. Jackson had been taken out of the match earlier due to a worked ankle injury, but later returned to rejoin the action. Following the match, Omega proposed allowing all weapons to be legal in the next match in the series, a potential elimination match for the Elite next Wednesday on Dynamite from San Antonio, Texas. In other happenings, the Acclaimed were attacked from behind by Jeff Jarrett, Satnam Singh, Jay Lethal, and Sanjay Dutt during one of Max Caster's raps, and the House of Black beat the Factory. Ruby Soho defeated Ty Mello and was attacked after the match by Anna Jay. Jungle Boy Jack Perry pinned Brian Cage and was later saved by Hook from a post-match attack by Cage and the rest of the firm. Moving to WWE news, former NXT Women's Champion Mandy Rose has been released from the company according to a report yesterday from Fightful Select. The release reportedly came as a result of risque content which Rose was uploading to and streaming from her personal account on Fantime, a social media platform for content creators similar to OnlyFans. WWE objected to the nature of some of the content, which included nude pictures and video, claiming that it was inappropriate for some of the company's media partnerships. The nature of Rose's Fantime content being cause for her release was confirmed by Brian Alvarez on Wednesday's Wrestling Observer Live radio show, who added that WWE has known of the content for some time, but those within the company felt it had been getting more risque, prompting them to take action. According to Dave Meltzer on this morning's Wrestling Observer Radio, it was Matt Bloom who brought the recent content to the attention of WWE's Senior Vice President of Talent Development Creative Shawn Michaels. Rose was said to be caught off guard by the release, which comes just one day after she lost the NXT Women's title to Roxanne Perez on this week's episode of NXT, ending a 414-day reign. The title change was reportedly a last-minute decision made due to Rose's imminent release from the company. The title change was reportedly a last-minute decision made due to Rose's imminent release from the company. Rose had been with the company since taking part in the 6th season of Tough Enough in 2015, and after a main roster run had been the leader of Toxic Attraction in NXT since July of 2021. With some legal news, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
Jeff Hardy faces a pre-trial hearing in connection with DUI charges next Wednesday morning in Florida, according to a PW Insider report. Hardy, who filed a not guilty plea to the charges back in June, is required to appear before the court in person. The hearing has already been pushed back twice since July, due to requests from Hardy's attorneys. Hardy was arrested on June 28th and charged with his third DUI offense in the past 10 years. as well as driving with a suspended, canceled, or revoked license. Should Hardy be convicted, he may be sentenced to up to 5 years in prison. MLW's lawsuit against WWE will be allowed to move forward, according to a report yesterday in PW Insider. The suit alleges that WWE intentionally interfered with contractual relations and prospective economic relations, which MLW claims led to the sabotage of signed deals the company had to air its content on Vice TV and on the Fox-owned streaming platform Tubi. The judge alleged interference would represent a violation of the Sherman Antitrust Act. Judge Edward J. Davila of the U.S. District Court Northern California District in San Jose reportedly issued a case management order on Tuesday, which calls for the most updated version of the lawsuit to be made available by February 13th, with a conference taking place next September 7th in San Jose to set a trial date. WWE filed a failed motion to dismiss the case last May. For the wrestling news, I'm Lou Kipilman.
In ratings news, Tuesday night's live episode of NXT drew 666,000 viewers to USA Network, up 24.72% from last week's 534,000 viewers. That's according to Showbuzz Daily. The rating in the key 18 to 49-year-old demographic was also up 30.76% from last week, going from 0.13 to 0.17 according to WrestleNomics. The episode came in at number 13 on cable TV for the evening in the key demo, up from number 36 last week. This was the largest overall viewership for NXT since the November 1st episode and the highest key demo rating since October 18th, tying for the second highest key demo rating of the year with one other episode. According to Post Wrestling in Canada, the show averaged 68,000 English-language viewers and 30,000 in the 25 to 54-year-old demographic on Rogers Sportsnet 360. Post John Pollock notes it was the show's largest audience in the country since March. Vice TV's news documentary, The 9 Lives of Vince McMahon, was watched by 95,000 viewers on Tuesday night, according to Showbuzz Daily, with a key demo rating of 0.04. The key demo rating doubled the average key demo rating of the first season of Tales from the Territories on Vice, but was down 42.84% from the average key demo rating of the last season of Dark Side of the Ring. With some independent wrestling news, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
AEW's Jon Moxley is scheduled to make his return to Washington-based independent promotion Defy Wrestling, according to a Twitter announcement yesterday from the company. Moxley is scheduled to wrestle for Defy at their 6th anniversary show on February 11th at Washington Hall in Seattle. His opponent for the show has not yet been announced. Moxley last wrestled for Defy on April 30th, when he defeated Tom Lawler. An October 7th press release from AEW indicated that as a provision of his new 5-year extension with AEW, Moxley would exclusively be wrestling for AEW and its international partners, such as New Japan Pro Wrestling. Although the Defy announcement would appear to contradict that agreement, AEW has yet to comment. For the wrestling news, I'm Lou Kipilman.
New Japan Pro Wrestling held the finals of their annual tag team leagues yesterday at the Sundai Sen Plaza. Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi claimed the Heavyweight World Tag League for the second year in a row, defeating Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher of Aussie Open. The team known as Bishamon will now go on to face FTR for the IWGP World Tag Team Championship at the Tokyo Dome on January 4th. Yo and Lio Rush are also moving on to the Tokyo Dome. That duo knocked off Impact Wrestling's Ace Austin and Chris Bay to win the Super Junior Tag League. As a result, Yo and Rush will now face TJP and Francesco Akira for the IWGP World Junior Heavyweight Tag titles on January 4th. WWE's Carl Anderson returned to Japan in order to defend the Never Openweight Championship against Hikuleo. After winning the match with a gun stun, Anderson challenged the man he defeated for the title on June 12th, Tama Tonga, for a match at the Tokyo Dome on January 4th. Also on the show, Minoru Suzuki, Lance Archer, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Doki defeated Evil, Yujiro Takahashi, Sho, and Dick Togo. After the match, Suzuki announced he would be disbanding his longtime faction, Suzuki-gun, at the end of the year. The group's origin story goes back to 2011 and was at times a force in both New Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah. The unit's last match will be against each other on December 23rd at Korakuen Hall. The main event of that show will be Suzuki, Archer, El Desperado, and Taka Michinoku against Zack Sabre Jr., Taichi, Kanemaru, and Doki. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.